Casio is mostly known for three types of watches. Their G-Shocks, their digital watches, and their analog watches that don't necessarily get enough marketing. The Casio that we're looking at today is one of them. Now, I don't know so much about Casio's B-side line, except that it produces some of the most underrated and rare Casio models, some of which are almost impossible to find. But today we are looking at the Casio B-side BEM-150L, which is still easier to find compared to some of those other models. Hey guys, welcome to Watches with Abdullah. The guys at Affordawatch were nice enough to send this Casio for me to shoot and review. I will share a link to their Instagram page down in the description below. Affordawatch is a growing online retailer in Malaysia that specializes in dealing with affordable watches. So if you're looking for interesting and entry-level pieces from brands like Casio, Seiko, Orient, and so on, do check out their page because they have new watches coming in every other day. Now, what sets this watch apart from other dressy Casios is mainly its cushion style case design, which you may recognize from watches like Panerai Radiomir, which was one of the earliest watch models to have used this case design. A cushion style case is essentially a square case with softly rounded corners, but the Casio BEM-150L in particular seems to have taken its inspiration from Laurent Ferrier Galact Square, especially with that vintage inspired subdial. When I first heard of this brand, Laurent Ferrier, I thought it's some sort of a fancy European shampoo. I was mistaken. LF is actually a very prestigious independent micro brand that only produces about 150 watches per year. I don't know the exact retail, but on Chrono24 you can find a pre-owned piece for between 40 to 50,000 US dollars, making the brand easily 3 times more expensive than H. Moser, which also happens to be a luxury independent micro brand. Coming back to the Casio, the mixture of polished stainless steel bezel and side profile of the case, along with a more matte, radially brushed case front, just makes you appreciate the attention to detail and design harmony that you find at every angle. The watch comes in this paper box, which in terms of marketing and presentation isn't amazing, which I think they can improve. The cushion style case does demand a slightly larger wrist presence as compared to the traditional round watches, especially when it comes to the case width, but to be honest, the size difference is barely noticeable. The watch comes with a mineral crystal with 50 meters of water resistance, case size of 45.5 by 39 millimeters with a thickness of 11.5 millimeters and strap width of 20 millimeters. You have a gorgeous sunburst black dial that looks a bit like gray or even brownish in different lights, polished applied hour markers, and a loomed pencil style hour and minute handset with a subdial at 6 o'clock featuring the seconds hand. The loom obviously is not as strong as on a sports watch, which is quite expected on an entry-level dress watch such as this. Inside the case, you have a Japanese quartz caliber, which is most likely a Miota movement with an accuracy of plus minus 20 seconds per month and a battery life of 3 years. Now, the crown is one of those areas where you actually interact with your watch, and unfortunately, that's where Casio seems to have cut costs. The crown does have a nice grip and easily pulls out, but once you actually start turning it, you realize that it doesn't have a solid feel. By that I mean that it almost feels a bit loose. It doesn't need to be ornamented or anything, but they need to improve on that. Another annoying thing, especially for those that suffer from OCD, is that the watch doesn't have instant date change function, which means that you will have instances where the date will not be in the center and you will be left with an empty white space on either sides of the date text. Now with this watch, you can choose between a stainless steel bracelet or a genuine leather strap, similar to the one on this model. The leather strap is not the best quality, but the good news is that it's a 20mm wide strap, which means that you can go crazy on the enormous variety of readily available straps in the market. Do check out Nomad Watchworks for a wide range of quality straps for the price. Again, I'll share the link down in the description below. The best part about this unique Casio is its price. At just $110 or 450 ringgit in Malaysia, it just doesn't get better than this. The fact that LF released the watch with its complete design story and narrative a few years before Casio, it's kind of safe to assume that Casio was the one following the footsteps of LF. But again, this is just my own assumption and I could be wrong because, you know, there's not much information on this watch. But come on, even if they did take inspiration from LF, Casio added their own design elements and functions to the watch, like the date window, the handset markers, dial finish. They made sure to change the design language to make the watch their own instead of simply copying an existing design. And you have to appreciate that, especially considering the price that you're paying. But what intrigues me is why would Casio take design inspiration from a relatively unheard of luxury watch brand for its own relatively unheard of B-side watch line? It's kind of genius. But Casio definitely needs to market their non-G-Shock watches much better, or at least pay me to do it for them. So before I end the video, thank you so much for watching and supporting this new channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.